Okay, first and second graders, now that you've listened to the story, we're going to practice a little bit with character traits. So you'll need to grab a piece of paper. I have a piece of construction paper here. Any kind of paper will do as long as you can sort of fold it and manipulate it. And what you're going to do is you're going to fold down the corners, each corner, so that it sort of meets in the middle, because you're going to want something that almost looks like a little foldable, almost like origami if you've done it before. So I'm going to fold a couple just so you see what I mean. And this paper isn't totally even, so it's not going to all meet in the middle, but just do your best to sort of create these flaps on each corner. So fold up each corner until all four corners have been folded, and you have something that kind of looks like this with just some little flaps. Hopefully yours is a little more of a square than mine, but this is the only paper I have, so it's the best we can do. And on the top of the flaps, you're going to write the word trait 4 times. So that's T-R-A-I-T. And that's where you're going to put 4 character traits to describe Gerald. And again, we talked about outside traits and inside traits. So it's up to you which traits you choose, but just write that word trait on the top of each flap, because that's where you're going to put a certain character trait to describe Gerald. And then when you flip it over on the inside, you're going to write the evidence for why you think Gerald is that way. So underneath where each trait is going to be the evidence to support why Gerald is that way. And then you have this big part in the middle to draw a nice picture of him or your favorite part of the story. So I'm going to do one of these flaps with you, and I'm going to write the word determined. Determined means you never give up. And that's a trait of Gerald's that I noticed in the story. Gerald never gave up wanting to be a good dancer or believing in himself as a dancer. And so I went ahead and I wrote determined on this outside flap, and underneath I'm going to put the evidence, which is that Gerald never gave up in the story. I'm going to say Gerald never gave up. And you can go ahead and do that now underneath all of the other flaps. So here I wrote, oops, that's upside down, determined, Gerald never gave up. So I did one flap. You guys can use this one if you want to use this trait. You might say Gerald is kind. You might say he's clumsy. And for whatever reasons, whatever traits that you choose, you must give evidence on the inside of the flap. And then draw a nice picture of Gerald in the middle. And you can use some of the character traits that I've given you on this slide to help you. So there's lots of different words to kind of get you started there. And when you're all finished with this, if you want to, head over to Flipgrid and show myself and Mrs. Morris kind of what you made and the different traits that you chose and why you felt Gerald had those character traits. Have fun!